Hello Phantom friends, it is Emily, your honorary little Lottie. Something I'm going to address today is something that a lot of you have noticed and I've gotten some messages about, but never really addressed, is this. My Phantom of the Opera tattoo. I just got this recently and it took, I want to say 5 or 6 sessions to actually complete because it is a half sleeve and very detailed. But this is a piece that I have been planning for literally like 10 years. I knew that I wanted to get a tattoo of Phantom probably, towards the end of high school, but I wanted it to be perfect. Phantom is so important to me, and this was going to be in a very visible place, so that I can be consistently reminded why I started singing and what Phantom has actually taught me. Not speaking of the silly satirical video that I have posted before, because Phantom has taught me many things about life that I'm not sure I ever would have learned if it hadn't come into my life. So I wanted to get something that reflected that and that could keep me mindful when I start to doubt myself. So I kept designing, redesigning. I knew I wanted it to be very LaRue based, but also have elements of the musical because I do love the Red Death costume, which is of course in the novel as well, but the musical has a fantastic representation of it. And I also wanted to find the right artist to do it because it was going to be a very detailed piece, and because it's so important to me, it needed to be done in the highest quality possible. And I finally found that artist here in my hometown of Jinx, Oklahoma. Believe it or not. Her name is Amy. I can never pronounce her last name because it's Czech. But she is an artist based here in Jinx at a shop called Lil Red's Tattoos. She is the owner, and I saw her work on Facebook and I was just like, this is it. She's the one. She's the one that's going to do this tattoo. And so I finally went to her. We came up with a final design using some inspiration from what I had drawn myself, and I'm going to show you the result today. First of all, we have Eric as the Red Death from Weber's Masquerade. That is by far my favorite costume in the entire show. And so I knew that just had to be the focal point. And I think she did a fantastic job. As you can see, she got extremely detailed in the clothing. It's just amazing, what she did with the cloth. She is a classically trained artist, and so she really has an understanding of what she's doing. And clothing, fabric is one of her specialties. This picture was based off of an image of Ramin Karimloo that was a still shot from the 25th anniversary. And I thought it was just perfect with the hand reaching out. And so I really love this. And I decided that for the most part, I wanted to keep this piece black and gray. But anything that was red was going to be red. And so this as the focal point, I really love the decision to make this red. And one of the great things about Amy is she's amazing at color packing. Red is very hard for the skin to take, and it fades easily. And so she really got in there and made sure that red was very rich and bright and was going to stay and last a long time. Other great thing about Amy is she's very light-handed. I mean, I have a pretty high pain tolerance, but still, it did not hurt nearly as bad as the one that I got done on my thigh, because she is just so light-handed. She really, really knows what she's doing. As you can see, we also have the Chandelier. Absolutely beautiful, detailed. I mean, when I showed her the Chandelier, I thought she was going to hate me for wanting to put that in there. I mean, it's just incredible. She got all of the little strands. I mean, the detail is just, I appreciate so much what she did with the Chandelier in particular. It came out beautifully. Next thing we'll talk about is the Phantom logo. Of course, we had to put that in there. And, you know, we had everything just black and gray. She actually did end up putting a little bit of color just to make sure the shadow really came through and that the mask was very, very three-dimensional. And that was just really great insight on her part. And then, of course, we have the rose red. And then, of course, she did a lot of filigree to fill in. We'll talk about this. This little quote right here is something said by Christine in LaRue's novel, and it is something that I have always lived by. I sing only for you. Now, I mean, the Phantom as we know him from LaRue's novel and the musical and what have you, you know, was fictional. But the legend of the opera ghost really did exist and really was something people believed in. And dedicate my music to him because there is an idea that he really was a real person. And there really was someone living down there, and that the spirit still haunts the opera house. And, you know, if it hadn't been for him, or just that legend in particular, Phantom, the novel and musical, would not have existed, and therefore I would most likely not be doing what I'm doing today. So I sing only for you. It's true. Everything that I do musically is for him. Here we have a violin. Eric, if you read the novel, was a violinist. And keeping LaRue aspects was very important to me. The image that we used for this was actually based on my actual violin. We took a picture, and she put a lot of some of the worn details that is part of my violin. My violin is close to 200 years old. It has a lot of definite signs of aging, but that's the great thing about violins. Honestly, the older the better. So I was really happy to be able to get that in there. Moving on, through here we have the rolled up sheet music from the opera Faust, and again, since Amy is fantastic, with a PH, she actually took a look at the real sheet music from the final trio of Faust, and those notes that you see in there, and some of the bar lines, that is literally from the final trio of Faust. Those are the real notes, and she really tried to get those in as best as she could. You know, it's hard because it was so small, but to the best of her ability, she actually used the actual sheet music from the final trio to do the sheet music. Again, absolutely fantastic detail work on her part. In here, we have the Candelabra from the musical. And I love how this turned out. You can really see the detail in the face, and it was just wonderful. And I'm absolutely in love. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My Phantom of the Opera half sleeve. If you live near Jenks or Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you would like to get a tattoo done by this incredible artist, there is a link in the description below to her website. Now, keep in mind, she is booked out months at a time, so you will need to be patient and make sure you sign up for the cancellation list. That's very important. But it is well worth the wait. Absolutely worth the wait. It took me probably 4 months to get this done, roughly. And, but I could not be more pleased with it. I have gotten so many compliments. Before it was even finished, I was already getting compliments. And I'm very, very proud of it. And also, if you don't live in the Tulsa area, but you are willing to travel for this, I honestly recommend it. I would travel a pretty good distance in order to get work done by her. So I cannot recommend her enough. Her name is Amy, and she is the owner and head artist of Lil Red's Tattoos in Jenks, Oklahoma. She will actually be applying for the show Ink Master, which I am extremely excited about. I really hope that she's able to get on the show, and she has told me that my tattoo is going to be one of the main things she features in her portfolio for her submission to the show. So again, just beaming with pride. I'm just so fortunate. So hopefully in a couple of seasons, if you have ever seen the tattoo competition show Ink Master, please watch it and see this fabulous artist at work. Thank you guys for watching. I am so glad I finally got to share this with you. Stay fantastic with a PH, and remember to keep your hand at the level of your eyes. Bye!